Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo Sport. We've got a new week of daily racing and it's actually quite an enjoyable week. We've got three pretty decent races to race. There is a bit of lack of originality in one of them, but yeah. First up, we've got Daily Race A. I'm starting from the back of the grid. We're at Blue Moon Bay Speedway and we're in the Camaro. It's a single make race and it's actually pretty enjoyable. So we're in N500, I think the power is set at. And yeah, standing start, 7 laps, and it's quite an enjoyable race because you can't take this track flat out in this car, so it actually does lead to quite an enjoyable combination. I think I'm going to do a bit of this week. It's actually good fun. So going into turn 1, we're going to brake a little bit earlier just in case we don't want to hit anyone into the braking zone. We see fairly clean for a daily race A considering the track and combination through turn 1. One driver there getting scraped along the wall, sparks flying everywhere, and we're going to gain a position here. It looks like we're up to P9, I think it is there. We're going to stay on the left hand side obviously for the slipstream, so we've got the inside line to the next few corners, let them run out to the outside. It's always safer to really be on the inside. However, coming through here you can see we've got the inside line and then we've got quite a nice gap behind us, so I decided, right, we'll take the normal racing line, we'll brake nice and early pretty much on the 100 board there, and then the Spanish driver behind us just pushes us right into the wall. Now I don't think it was deliberate. I think he just obviously put a bit too much power down, so we lost the progress we make straight away there, so back down to P10. But yeah, I think this is the way this race is going to go. It's quite an enjoyable one, but you only have 7 laps, so maybe the best place to probably start, I would think, for this race is probably like P4 or 5. I think that is probably the optimal place to start. As we see going through there, max power, contact with the cars getting hit everywhere. We managed to get past that silver Camaro, and now we're going to tuck in behind max power. I thought, well, we might as well try and play as tactically. It's a bit difficult though. You're probably going to find most people being quite aggressive in this because 7 laps, it's not really the type of race that you're going to work together. But I thought we'll tuck in behind max power, give him a little bump draft there, and then go to the outside and see if we can get a nice good exit from this corner. This corner is really important. It does seem to be better to stay around the middle of the track if you try and, just come into the inside line and then get on the power nice there. As you see, we get a nice exit there. We've got the Portuguese driver that's obviously had a bad exit from the corner. Now I was thinking of going down the left, but however we do have weak slipstream on for this race and it is quite powerful. So yeah, obviously weak is stronger than real, just for people that do not know that. So yeah, we got the 1.5 second slipstream in action for this race as we do a nice move there, gaining quite a few positions there, and we're up behind Gigabyte in the Camaro also because it's a single make race. But yeah, so into P6 and okay so far. We're not halfway through the race. We're not too far behind the leader. You can see they're about 2.5 seconds ahead. We are gaining obviously now that we got the slipstream. However, it's going to be very hard to get up to them, I think, as we fast forward the action. Following behind Gigabyte now. I was just basically trying to work with him here. There was no point fighting him. Might as well just follow him. As again, he goes to pull out to go overtake the red Camaro. We're going to stay on the left hand side here now and just let him give me that position. Give him a little bump draft there. He gets a position. We then get alongside the red car, and now we're up into P5. So pretty nice start to the race, gone quite well. And now we've got P3, the driver that just scraped us into the wall. Like I say, I don't think it was deliberate, but I wasn't too sure. You never know. So we've got to be a bit careful when we come up to P3. Following behind Twitch, Gigabyte now into the braking zone. You can see just brake just before the 100 board there. Just a fraction before it. Try and get the car nice and early into this apex. Hard on the throttle there in 3rd gear, accelerating into 4th gear, and again just obviously following the slipstream now. And again through this corner you just want to try and take it as quite narrow but not too narrow that you're going to scrub the tyres and lose speed. So through here we're going to go up to 5th gear, and again the next braking zone you're going to be again looking for the 100 board on the right hand side, which is about the point where you have to pretty much get a little bit of braking input done and just let the car slow down into the corner, down to 4th gear there, and then back on the throttle as hard as we can, and early upshift once we get onto the straight line, to get in that slipstream up into 5th gear now and working our way over the line. I think we go over the line on a 52.6, is it? Yeah, 52.6. I think that is the fastest, or 52.8. I can't fully read that there, but it's the fastest lap of the race so far. So an alright lap there. Now we're going to fast forward again as Gigabyte leaves the door open there for me to follow him through there up into P4. However, that is a Spanish driver that pushed us a little bit wide before, so as I see him going for the undercut there, I kind of panicked a bit and thought, well, I'm going to back out in case he pushes me into the wall. So he ends up getting that position back. Maybe I should have been a little bit more aggressive there, but yeah, after what happened earlier in the race, I thought, well, I'll be a bit more cautious this time. So now we have one more lap to go in this sprint race, daily race A, and it's quite an enjoyable one. I think they're going to have some good little battles at this combination. I think it's quite fun. This is the type of race I like for daily race A. It's just a, jump on, go on your second account, enjoy it. Now, what I will say is, be pretty cautious of your SR, because I did notice that I saw Jimbray at the end of this race actually had a red S. Now, I didn't see him doing anything too bad, so maybe be a bit cautious about going in this race on your main account, because it does look like it seems to be kicking off a bit of the SR down, so maybe be cautious on that one. I personally was okay in this race. I didn't get SR down, so but we didn't really have any contact with anyone, so that might be why. So going through the final corner, trying to get a slipstream now. You can see Jimbray going for the move, and we've managed to catch up to leader from 2.5 seconds down. We've managed to get back up within half a second of him, so not a bad finish considering we got pushed in the wall at the start. Without that, I think we could have been challenging for the lead, but yeah, we'll take that P5. A fun race, definitely going to be racing this week. Look forward to streaming it, and we can have some good fun with that. So then we have daily race B, and this race I wasn't having too much luck on. As we see coming through here, we get wiped out there in our first attempt of the race, which basically made this race pointless, because from that point on we were so far behind. Next race, first lap in the next race we did, and the Corvette just punts me off there straight into the gravel and carries on his way, and he actually then took out another driver after that, so not too nice to see. So I decided, well, I'm going to set a lap time, because I'm getting quite frustrated with this race. We had 6 minutes to set it, managed to set a 54.8, I think it was, possibly 54.9, can't remember, but only had a few laps to go, and then we thought, well, let's see if we can go for a bit of a win in this race, and it might be a bit more fun at the front of the grid for this race, because it seems quite aggressive from the races that I have done at this today. So starting from P2, we're just going to get in the slipstream of P1 here, and not be too aggressive on the first lap, because obviously we don't want to let any cars getting too close behind us. But one thing I did think was that I think I was going to go for, as soon as I had an opportunity to go for a move, I was going to go for it, because we managed to set a lap time pretty much equal to P1's within, I think it was 2 laps we did in time trial. So I knew that our pace should be good enough to get past him once we can find an opportunity. So through the 2 right hand corners, the 2 Lesmos there, reasonably nice. We had to pause it there because our steering wheel went really heavy. But we get a good exit from this corner. You can see short shift in the Veyron. One thing I do say is make sure you do give it a little bit of a short shift, because it is faster when you just, I think it's probably about 70% on the rev bar is the optimal. So we got the inside line brake just late enough there. Now you see that he gets the inside line, so I decide to let him have that inside line here. So I stay to left, keep the momentum on the left hand side, let him tuck up the inside, and then go back over to pick up his slipstream down into turn 1. So this is all on purpose. We deliberately go wide there, and then we go to left, fake it to left, and we're going to go down the right hand side, and we just about get enough of the car alongside him. He's trying to squeeze us over, but our car is there at this point, so we got the inside line. Brake on the 150, downshift into first gear, and just try and get over the apex there. And then early on the throttle in second gear as early as possible. Don't try not to stay in first gear too long through there, so early upshift in second, accelerate out the corner, and now we've got the Veyron behind us. Now, one thing I'm going to say to you is, be cautious. This car is so wide, and I do forget about that when I'm driving this car, especially with this view that we use. I do tend to forget it. So as we come through, I think we might squeeze him a little bit too far to the right. You see, a little bit of contact, but he's still on the track. It's nothing too bad. It was just a little bit of contact. But I don't think he was too happy with that. I think he was quite annoyed. At the end of the race, he said no words about that. I mean, I don't think it was that bad. But coming through here, we go into the first Lesmo, and he hits a barrier, and that's going to drop him back a little bit. But however, going through the second Lesmo, I completely messed this up. You see, not really carrying the speed through the corner. I braked far too much. Do not get the exit speed out of there, and now he's got the slipstream. So he's going to get the slipstream run into the Ascari chicane, but we should be able to defend this. We're going to stay to the left hand side as long as possible. So if he's going to try and do it, he's going to have to go around the outside, but he's going to go to the right hand side. We're going to brake pretty late there. We do the braking fine, down to 4th gear. Take this corner fine, but looking in the mirror behind us, I don't know whether he was annoyed at him hitting me in the rear there, but that's not really my problem. He runs off wide all by himself, and yeah, I don't really see, he was really frustrated with me at the end of the race, but I don't personally see it being too much our fault, that one. I think the little nudge when we didn't give him as much space as we probably should have done, maybe, but that's not deliberate. That was purely because the car is so wide, and yeah, I recommend you try and remember that when you're driving this car. Now obviously if you're using other views you'll be okay, but yeah, on the view I use it's pretty hard to judge with this car. But yeah, again we got the Senna driver behind us, Portuguese driver. He gives us little flashlights into the turn 1 braking zone, just to say let's not battle this one out, and now we've got a bit of a clean lap. So making sure you brake about the 150 board into turn 1, that's where I try and brake, and then obviously that second gear, early upshift. Now into the second chicane. I tend to brake on the grey bit of tarmac on the right hand side. You can spot it just about there on the right. Brake around that point, down to third gear, try and get the car over the curb as much as possible, and again over the curb there. Accelerate out, early upshift into fourth gear, and then you're looking for the 50 board on the left hand side, just before the shadow starts there pretty much of the trees. That's where you're braking into fourth gear and accelerating out into second Lesmo, which again you brake down to fourth gear just before the 50 board, chucking it in and accelerating out all the way up into the Ascari chicane, which again I tend to brake just after the bridge. You can brake quite late, but it's all about momentum through that corner. So I do find that the earlier you brake, the more speed you take out the exit speed. So braking just after the board above your head, down to fourth gear, early upshift into fifth gear through here will help your momentum. As you see coming through it, we shift just before we come out the corner on the apex of the second part of the Ascari chicane. That helps your momentum down the straight, and then we're going to look out for the 100 board for our next braking zone. So we're looking out for the 100 board on the left hand side to hit that brake. As you see there, just on the left hand side, you've got 200 boards there as well. So if someone does take out the 100 board, you do have the 100 board on the fence as well, so you'll never miss that braking zone. And working your way through the final corner, stay to the right hand side pretty much for the shortest possible distance to the finish line, and we're going to go over with a 154.9 I think in the race. So not a brilliant lap, but not the worst. We managed to take the win there. The driver behind stayed around 1 second behind, and we quite a comfortable win. Not a brilliant lap on the next lap, only a 55.2 or something like that, but yeah, a pretty reasonable race. We get the win there. But I definitely had more fun racing from the front in that one than the back. It was quite chaotic in the back. So we start the next race, the feature race, and this was Daily Race C. It's at Red Bull Ring in Group 2. We're on the soft and medium tyres. You do need to use both tyres, and it's quite a competitive field. We've got quite a few A+ drivers, a lot of A drivers, so this is going to be a difficult one. However, I feel like I took all England's luck in this race. Probably what they could have done with last night, but yeah, we won't talk about that too much. It was a big shame, but yeah, this race seemed to give it a lot of luck to me. So first corner, I messed that up slightly, and you can see we've got Marcus behind us, a very, very fast Group 2 driver, very fast top split FIA driver as well. So we managed to stay ahead purely because the GTR is a bit better in top speed, and we've got the inside line into the braking zone, and we can see there's a yellow flag up ahead, so something's obviously gone down here. We stay to the inside there, giving the car the space on the outside, and we managed to take that position to gain one position straight away. So up one position, not too bad. We're not really gaining a massive amount of places, but then we're going to go into the next braking zone looking for that 100 board. Make sure we don't brake too late, and we see an opportunity as P16 goes for that move there. And I thought, well, we'll follow him through. We'll take that position also. So a nice easy move there has been gifted to us by the move done by the car in front. But through here, we try and do a little bit of a fake, go wide, undercutting him now, and then on the throttle as early as possible. So we've worked him to the outside of the track, and we've got the inside line now into this left-hand corner. So again, another position gain there. Quite a nice move up into P16. So pretty nice first lap of the race. It's quite clean. I do like this combination. It's always a fun race. Very easy to pick up penalties though, just be aware of that with the track limits. As we see P15 going a little bit too far out of the track limits there, he's going to pick up a penalty, and again possibly another one there as he nearly loses control of his car, but we're going to get that position before he gets any penalties that he's going to be awarded for that. So up into P15, he's staying to the left hand side. We're going to have to take kind of a narrow line through it, but we managed to do that okay. As we come through here, and we get another gifted position as the car is in the barrier there. So up to P14, then looking ahead, I think this is just like we're getting all the luck that we could get here, as we got two more drives with penalty. P13 bins it in front of us but manages to save it, but we get that position past P12. P11's got the penalty also, and yeah, everything is going our way so far. So we look up the inside, get a brake late, we manage to get it into the apex, and yeah, a nice move. So everything seems to be going perfect for me at the moment. That is probably the luckiest start to a race I've ever had, with penalties being awarded, people going off the track, and yeah, all good through there as we work our way through the two left corners here. Again, just trying to make sure you carry the momentum through this corner. This corner here in particular is always a corner that takes me quite a bit to get used to in terms of the speed that you can carry through that corner. You really have to chuck the car in and get the momentum out of the corner. So now we're going to come to the end of lap 2. As you see, we're up to P11, so quite an eventful 2 laps there. Quite an enjoyable 2 laps as well, as we run a little bit wide there, but just about avoid the penalty. We've got a car in front that's run wide. He's not got no exit speed there from the corner, so that's another gifted position up into P10. We haven't had to work very hard. We've done some okay dives, obviously into turn 3, I think it is, when obviously they've had penalties. We managed to go and move, and we've got another car now with another half-second penalty in front of us. So again, we're going to possibly get rewarded with another move here. So going into the braking zone, we're going to send this. We do have to send it, but we managed to do it nicely, hit the braking point perfectly, and that is another position. So up into P9 and going quite well. We're going to skip a little bit further ahead in the race now, and we've got another car in front of us with a penalty. So another gifted position here, it looks like, as he's going to take that half-second penalty. We're going to go from P9 up into P8, as we see. This time it's going to be a little bit easier because we've caught him up a lot earlier, and yeah, a nice clean move. We're going to stay on the middle of the track though, just in case he considers going for a bit of a dive on the inside, and yeah, holding on to that P8. So now we're looking at a possible P5 here in the race. We've got top P5 isn't too far ahead. I don't know what tyres people have started on at this stage, as again, going through it, another driver has picked up a half-second penalty because he ran too far wide going into that left-hand corner. So again, you have to be cautious of the track limits here. Do not push the limits. Be careful where you're running wide and stuff. And then through this straight now, we should be able to go for a pass, but he's going to go defensive. I was going to send it up there, but yeah, he defends it, which is going to cost him time, really. I mean, I can understand him defending it, but we're going to get that position anyway because he's got a half-second penalty. So wasn't too fussed about battling that. Thought we'll just get him as soon as he takes a penalty. So another gifted position there, and we're up into P7. So we've got P5 and 6 not too far in the distance, and the race is going pretty much how, you know, for our first race we did a few laps in time trial on my main account, jumped into this with no practice. I decided to pit on lap 6. I didn't have any clue on what the tyres were going to be like. I think this is pretty optimal though. I think you could go lap 5, but you're probably going to suffer a little bit more with the soft tyres at the end, but they should be able to do it, I think. But lap 6, I think, is reasonably optimal. Maybe you could do a 7.75, but again, as we come out the pits, I have never had a race where I've been gifted with so much luck in terms of cars getting penalties and just getting freebies off them. So again, we're out the pits, nice clean air, because we got 1 penalty, 2 penalties, and a nice gap now to P12. So very lucky here so far. I've got to say, we are getting all the luck in the world at the moment. Up to P13 now. Obviously some cars haven't pitted, so we're going to be right back up the order once everyone goes in the pits and does their compulsory pit stop for this race. So you can see now up to P9, and we're going to gain a few more positions when people go in the pits from the soft tyre and put the medium tyre on. So we're catching up to P8 at this stage. You can see getting closer and closer to him. Purple sectors there. Again, trying to get the car through these corners as fast as possible on this soft tyre. Not a perfect lap that. It was a 20.9. There was 3 or 4 attempts left in that, I think. So yeah, not the best lap we've ever done, but okay, it's reasonably good. We're now up behind P5 as everyone's done their pit stop. So up to P6 in the race, and P5 not too far ahead, and we've managed to catch him up quite fast there. So so far the race looking okay. I think one thing I would have probably have done is gone +1 or +1 or 2 with the rear, with the bias towards the rear for the soft tyre, because like I say, the softs were running the fronts quite aggressively through some of these fast corners. So I'd possibly go +1 or +2 for the race with my brake bias with the GTR. Now you can use the Nissan, you can use the Honda in this race. However, it will be quite bad on tyres, so just bear that in mind. It's quite good over a lap, but I think in terms of race pace, as P5 runs a little bit wide there, and that's possibly going to give him dirty tyres. So I was pretty aware that he might not have very good exit speed from it. So I tried to get a really good exit this time. You see, hooking it up perfectly. Onto the power, early upshift to second gear worked perfectly there. And now we've got a nice slipstream behind P5. And he's not going to fight it. He's just going to pretty much let us go here. So maybe he's thinking of the long run. No point fighting this position. He just leaves the door open. We're now up into P5 in this race. So now, can we manage to get ourselves up into P4? It looks like P4 is pretty much the limit. We've got just over 3 laps left, and we can see P3. We can see P3 in the distance there, but it might be a little bit difficult to get that position because I think the car in front of us might be on fresh mediums, and at this stage, our tyres are probably starting to fade. You can see it on the telemetry there. Our front tyres are starting to fade quite a bit, but we're catching up to Bobby there in P4. Can we get him somewhere on this lap or the next lap as we fast forward the action again? As we're just getting in time on him, just trying to get as close as we can, trying to get in the slipstream with it. He has a little moment through there, but then into turn 1 again. I think he runs wide through here, so he runs wide, gets dirty tyres. Now, straight away I was like, right, he's got dirty tyres there, so I need to get as close as possible again for this corner and get a good exit. And again, he gets the bad exit because he's got no grip on them tyres, and that is a nice easy pass. So yeah, took advantage of seeing him run wide. I knew he'd run wide and have dirty tyres there, so a nice easy pass up the inside again. Another gifted pass almost, but yeah, I kind of gifted but kind of knew that he'd have the dirty tyres, so I really pushed up into the braking zone. So up into P4 now, and not a bad race for our first attempt at this race against some pretty decent drivers in this lobby. So can we catch P3? It doesn't really look like it's going to happen, and as we come through here, we go a little bit wide through here. We clip the curb, onto the curb there, almost lose it, but just about keep it on the track. But that's going to be a half-second penalty, and like I say, very easily done at this combination. So try and make sure you're cautious with them exits. That's where mainly you get the penalties at this combination. However, luckily we managed to push again through turn 1, and we've got enough of a gap to make sure that we do not lose this P4. So we skip ahead to the final lap now, and you can see we didn't really have enough to catch up to P3. I don't think even without the penalty it would have made much difference. We might have got about a 1 second behind him, but it would have been very difficult. Like I say, he had fresh mediums, our sauce was starting to wear at that point. So P4 though, pretty solid result and quite an enjoyable race. I had a lot of fun at that, so hopefully you lot will have a lot of fun at Daily Race C. I think it's probably the best race of the week. Daily Race A is definitely the meme races, I'd like to say. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscription button, subscribe to the channel, notification button, hit the thumbs up. It does help the channel massively. So yeah, I'll be seeing you all for more live streams this week and more videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Bye.